皆さんこんにちは、トニー森です。今回はオークノール地区にあるサイレナス・ヴィントナーズを訪れています。それでは皆さんご一緒にどうぞ。ナパバレーのオークノール地区に位置するサイレナス・ヴィントナーズの前身は1967年遊覧家によって設立されたのが始まりです。当初は他のワイナリーにブドウを販売していましたが、1980年にカベルネ・ソーヴィニョン、ピノ・ノワールを主にワイン作りをスタートしました。1999年まで遊覧家によって運営されていましたが、その後所有者が変わり、2006年にサイレナス・ヴィンヤーズとなり現在に至っています。年間生産量は2000ケースほどです。他のワイナリーとの違いは、10社のワイン生産者がここの設備を使ってワイン作りをしていることです。テイスティングルームではこれらのブティークワイナリーのワインが40種類以上楽しむことができます。それではオークノール地区にあるサイレナス・ヴィントナーズのジェネラルマネージャーのスコット・メドウさんにお話を伺ってみたいと思います。
The winery was actually started in 1967 as a walnut orchard. So it was purchased by a family called the Newlands. They came here, they bought the land, it was about 20 acres, and they tore all of the walnut trees out and planted it with vines. At that point, they started growing grapes, and they were selling Cabernet Sauvignon and Pinot Noir from here to Robert Mondavi. They ended up in Mondavi's reserves, and to Inglenook, which was a large winery. In 1980, they decided that they wanted to produce their own wines from these vineyards, so they built the winery facility around here and started creating Cabernet Sauvignon and Pinot Noir wines that they were selling. From 1980 through 1999, it was owned by the Newland family, at which point it was sold to a gentleman who's Japanese and whose wife was Spanish, and they changed the name to Coves Newland Winery, and at that point it made about 10,000 cases a year of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Zinfandel. Then in 2006, it became Silenus Vintners. Silenus Vintners is now not only a place that makes our own wine. We have our vineyards here, there's 20 acres that grow. Currently it's planted to Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and Petit Verdot. But we also buy some grapes outside, and we make about 2,000 cases a year. In addition to that, we have about 10 vintners, other winemakers, that use our facility and use our tasting room to make high-end Napa Valley wines. So those we also produce here and we have in our tasting room.
Oh, by far, the most important factor is the fruit and the climate and the soil where you're growing the grapes. That's the whole thing. I mean, just like if you were going to make a peach pie, the most important thing would be the peaches. And so it's always the fruit, it's always the grapes, and getting them to that optimal ripeness. And then the second most important thing after that is the oak that you use, how you vinify the wine. But always it's the grapes. Well, of course, you need to take care of the wine throughout the process. You need to do everything right. You need to have everything in place to properly care for the wine and make it. But that's a given that you're going to do that right. The thing that's not always a given is whether you're going to have the best fruit. So you just kind of, that Mother Nature gives you what she's going to give you, and then you plan for the rest. Good. Okay, this is the Blondie Gone Wild, and we call it wild because it's a wild fermentation. In other words, we don't add yeast. You can add yeast to a wine. Typically you do that, but not always. If you don't add yeast, what you have is what we call a native fermentation or a wild fermentation, and you'll get more interesting flavors that way because you have more of a spectrum of yeasts that are active, and they'll give different flavors. And so that's called Gone Wild. And Blondie is a reference to the owner's daughter, who's a blonde, and we also have a lion on the label, which is a blonde mane. So that's what that name means. But it's a nice, rich, flavorful, and we use about a third new oak. So we have some of that oaky vanilla flavor, and not a lot of complexity, and a nice, rich wine. And then the second one is the Napa Valley, or the Oak Knoll Reserve. And that comes from the reserve block, which is a section closer to the hills over there. It has the best soils in the vineyard, and we tend to get richer, fuller flavors out of that. So we make a special wine just from that one area. That's called the reserve. Nice, rich, full-bodied, very big Napa Valley cab. Very proud of that one.
それではシレナス・ヴィントナーズの O7 アイデオロジーブロンディ・ゴーン・ワイルドシャラドネをテイスティングしています。ハニーデューメロンですね。それにパイナップル、ペアですね。それとですね、その後にセカンドでガーディニア、あれのすごく甘いようなアロマがついてきますけども、すごく爽快感を伴ったですね、心地よいフィニッシュです。このシャルドネでしたらナスとですね、アンチョビのマリネをバゲットで召し上がっていただいたらいいんじゃないかなと思いますけども、いかがでしょうか。それでは次にSilenus Vintnersの O6 アイデオロジー Reserve Block カバルネ・ソーヴィニョンをテイスティングしています。ダークフルーツの果実味がぎゅっと凝縮されたようなそんなフレーバーも感じますけども、カーダモンですか、それとあとそうですオレガノ、その後にですねコーヒー豆とプラムとそれとあとスパイスのコラボレーションみたいなそんな趣のあるカバルネですけども、このカバルネでしたらチョコレートスフレかチョコレートトリュフルかなんかで召し上がっていただいたらパーフェクトなペアリングだと思いますけども、いかがでしょうか。
Hello, welcome to Silenus Vintners. My name is Scott Meadows, and I'm the general manager here. We're located in the Oak Knoll district of Napa Valley, and our hours are 10 to 4, tastings by appointment only. Next time you're visiting San Francisco or Napa, please come by and see us. Thank you very much.
皆さん、サイレナス・ヴィントナーズはいかがでしたか。エンジョイしていただけましたでしょうか。それではまた次回。I'll see you guys next time.